All right, so today we are going to go over cholesterol in our blood. This is next to your sheet where it says cholesterol in your blood. Here, put the word key because I've taken up your homework. And now we're going to go over it together to do the problem so that you have a better understanding of it. So when you get your homework back and you see why you have it wrong or why you have it correct, you can have a key to better study from it. Because at the end of this, we're talking about macromolecules right now. We've discussed lipids. We've discussed, let's talk about carbohydrates. We're going to talk about protein. And later on, we're going to talk about nucleic acids. That's going to come when we talk about cells. And that's when we're going to be able to get into our microscopes and start viewing things. I know we've been taking notes and doing things of that nature, but we have to get those things out of the way so you have a better understanding of what it is that you will be doing in the lab. So soon you will be having a quiz on this information to help me understand that you know what it is we're talking about before I put you in the lab with this information. So looking at our first one, you have a sheet in front of you that also looks like this, which has information about the cholesterol levels. This was basically interpreting this information. It became scientific when it talked about cholesterol and it talked about patient information, but then it also integrated what other two subjects? Math and reading. You had to be able to comprehend to be able to do the work here. I apologize if this is a little bit blurry on your screen. No, come on. Thank you. Okay. And you have the same words on yours, so you should be able to follow through. When I start writing, you'll be able to see exactly what mine is. So, for number one, let's have Justin. Why don't you describe to us, read for us number one, and then describe to us what it is that we need to be doing. Okay, so in order to figure out the total cholesterol, what did you have to do? Okay, so what is the triglyceride level? 305. And we had to divide that by, how did we know to do that? Tim? On the other paper, it said it directly on the bottom. You have to divide, to calculate the total cholesterol level, divide the triglycerides by 5. Okay? So when we divided it by 5, what did we get? 61 what? mg per dl. You had to have that because that's when it becomes scientific. If you did not put your unit there, then it's not scientific. You also need to have it on these. So we divided it by 5. Then what, Justin? Okay. So we then needed to add the HDL levels and the LDL levels. What are they? What's the HDL? 45. So we can add this to 45. 45 what? mg/dl plus 102. 102 what? mg dl. For the what? It should say mg. Yeah, it's an error. And then what do we get? I'll add it up for you. Get 208 what? Per deciliter. You got to get the same unit because we're adding them. That's math. But then it's scientific when you put this, when you just add that number, that's math, but this is not math class. It's science class, so you must have that there. This represents their total what? Total cholesterol. This is reading, comprehension, knowing what it is that you're looking for. All right, any questions about that? Number 2, Nakaya. How did we figure this out? Why? Okay, so let me just write this out. Total cholesterol equals what? I want to know what's the equation for it. What's the equation for it? How do we figure out the total cholesterol? Read what it says on your second paper. Okay, we got HDL plus LDL plus the tri-G divided by 5. What are we looking for? What is the question asking us for? We don't know the LDL. So now, what's the equation? Do we know the total cholesterol? The total cholesterol is right here. 195. So I'm just going to fill in these blanks. We got 195 mg over dl equals, do we know the HDL? What is it? 55. 55 what? DL. Do we know the LDL? No. Do we know the triglyceride? So we know that it's 215 mg dl divided by 5. Now it's a simple math equation, correct? Is it or is it not? Okay, so what do we need to do? And I'm taking everything step by step because this is science. Math, you can punch in the numbers all day long, but in science we have to see the process. So 215 divided by 5 is what? 43. Plus LDL, we do not know. Plus 55 mg. And some of you are like, well, I can just do this in my head. I already know. I don't need to write it all out. That's fine. But when you get stuck, or if you get stuck, here's where you'll be able to see where you got stuck. So now, how do we figure out LDL? Milligrams over deciliters. Okay, so let's do that now. 55 plus 43 is? 8 milligrams per deciliter plus LDL still equals 195 milligrams per deciliter. Now we have a simple third grade math problem. Right? So now what are we doing? Subtracting what from what? 98 from 195. And when we do that, we end up with what? 97. So LDL equals 97 what? Milligram per deciliter. Is LDL good or bad? What did your notes say? Your notes from the day before. LDL is bad. Because LDL does what? Huh? Clogs the arteries?
Yeah.
Okay. What's HDL? What does it do?
Protect you from heart.
It does what?
Carries cholesterol.
It carries cholesterol back to the liver, and why is that a good thing? Because your liver is responsible for doing what?
Waste.
Getting rid of waste product, helping to get rid of or neutralize waste products. Are we all good so far on here? So the math is good. All right. If you get stuck when you are studying, what should you do? Look at your paper or revisit my notes so that you can see where you got stuck at. All right, moving on to 2B. Let's have Joy. Are they at high risk?
No.
No, why? What should, excuse me, I can't talk. Good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. So it says bad cholesterol on your paper, low LDL. Good cholesterol, high HDL. So cholesterol levels should be what? Look at your chart, guys. Less than 100 means optimal. From 100 to 129 is near optimal. 130. These are the LDL levels, and we're looking at the HDL levels. So what is this patient's LDL levels? Less than 100. So is it at risk for heart disease? No, because the LDL levels are low. Are you absent? Oh, no. All right, number 3, looking at patient A. Brianna. Question, Jemiah?
No.
You want to do it? Huh? You could do B, patient B. Go ahead, Dr. Whitaker.
Okay. Total cholesterol, so it says 265 milligrams per DM. And I would take a chart and that's greater than 240 milligrams. So that puts me at high risk for total cholesterol. So I put down high risk.
Okay, so definitely high risk. Because of the amount of bad cholesterol, right? Which is what? Okay. And you said something else? Brianna, did you say something else? What about the low HDL? Yes, if HDL is low, that puts it at high risk. Patient B, Dr. Sturtevant.
I say no.
You say no what? So not high risk. Because why?
Low.
What's low?
No. No, it's high. It's high.
What's high?
The numbers.
What numbers? You have to be specific.
The cholesterol, the LDL, and the HDL.
Tell me about it. Be more specific.
Because you go back to the page.
Okay, the LDL level is what? 101 mg per deciliters. What does that tell us?
Tell me that is near optimal, so this bed is good.
And what about the HDL?
It's good too.
It's desirable.